are in the summer home of the Lenape. They were blessed with the absence of the colonists until 1783. Train service began on the Camden and Atlantic Railroad in 1854. By 20 years later, almost 500,000 passengers a year were coming from the Philadelphia area. The first boardwalk was built in 1870 along a portion of the beach to help keep sand out of hotel lobbies. The boardwalk was removed each year at the end of the peak season. Go figure. It used to be about 7 miles long, but the 1944 Great Atlantic Hurricane fixed that. In 1883, saltwater taffy was conceived in Atlantic City by David Bradley. Bradley's shop was flooded after a major storm, soaking his taffy with salty Atlantic Ocean water. He sold some, quote, saltwater taffy, unquote, to a girl who proudly walked down the beach to show her friends. The rest is her story. The city is 38% black, 26% white, 15% Asian, and 30% Latinx. Don't try to add it up. There are also Egyptians, Pakistanis, and Bangladeshis, and 3 mosques. On the north side of town, home to African Americans in the racially segregated city, a black entertainment district reigned on Kentucky Avenue. 4 major nightclubs, including Club Harlem, drew both blacks and whites. Atlantic City has one of the highest rates of foreclosures in the country, particularly affecting black residents in neighborhoods segregated by redlining. In the 1950s, the economy collapsed as seaside resorts in Florida and the Caribbean were now reachable by plane. Casinos were legalized in 1976 to rescue the city. In 1993, Donald Trump campaigned to block federal recognition of the Ramapo Indian tribe in New Jersey, fearing they would open a rival casino. Trump Plaza, which originally opened in 1984, was the loser among casinos. The Trump Taj Mahal closed in 2016 after failing to come to terms with union workers. Nearly 3,000 lost their jobs. You can drink on the boardwalk as long as you buy it on the boardwalk. Other things are also now marginally legal.
So, you like sativa, go to sleep, or do you like energetic?
Energetic.
Not super strong. Indica or indica up? Anything else? The screens. You want to try the Oreos?
You're kidding.
Doritos, Cheetos with the cheese, hybrid,
Yeah.
and sativa. Cash your card.
The board game Monopoly did not start out in Atlantic City, but it was eventually given names of properties in AC, and they stuck. On the other hand, it didn't start out as Monopoly either. Elizabeth Phillips, or Lizzie Maggie, pardon my pronunciation, invented the landlord's game in 1904 to illustrate the evils of land monopolists, being as she was a follower of the single taxer Henry George. The game was popular with college students, Quakers, and other concerned citizens. Parker Brothers discovered the game, as Europeans did with the Lenape lands, and in 1934, Monopoly was born. Lizzie made about $500 total from her game, less than she spent developing it. The Parker Brothers denied her credit for the game, and cash. She is now credited not only with the origins of Monopoly, but with popularizing the circular board game. Prior to her work, most games were linear. Perhaps a bit more important, she also worked for women's and black people's rights. The new Monopoly version is played with bank cards instead of cash, but still hasn't got back to the original message of the game, although there is a Ms. Monopoly version that not only addresses the gender pay gap, but reverses it. In the new Hasbro edition, instead of buying up properties, players collect historic inventions made by women. Kathy Sarachild, Shulamith Firestone, Carol Hanisch, and other members of Radical Women decided enough was too much. Inspired by Simone de Beauvoir and the Civil Rights Movement, they kick-started second-wave feminism here on the boardwalk in 1968, protesting the Miss America cattle contest. The woman crowned that week, Judith Ford, now understands the protests. Things are changing, she says, though not fast enough. It's not equal footing yet.